I am talking to James Hunter, who is... Where are you at the moment, James?
I'm at Louis Armstrong Airport in New Orleans, just about to go to Minneapolis.
And of course, you've got such an American accent, it's frightening. Tell us a little bit... Now, I mean, your career began as Howlin' Wolf and the VJs. What was that all about? Because that was in London, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was based in London, yeah. I was Howlin' Wolf in something else while I was still in Colchester, about, mid-80s, and then 86 I moved to London, and it was basically a new band, a different band from the trio I already had. And, I fell in with some London musicians and started busking and doing indoor gigs up in London.
Now, I've got to admit, I mean, I've followed you from the album that I think everybody really, really knows, which is People Gonna Talk. But before that, you were doing all the clubs in London, things like the Weavers and 100 Club throughout the 90s. I mean, what was that like, working those clubs?
Well, it was very nice, actually. We had a lot of, we had a lot of thin times, but, you sparked up a nice memory, the Weavers' Arms. I used to really enjoy that. You were at Stoke Newington, wasn't it? And it was, it was a normal pub. I was a bit disappointed when they painted it all black inside and tried to make it look like the Mean Fiddler. I thought, it's a pub, leave it as that.
Now, I've got to ask you.
And there was a lot of nice places we had there.
I've got to ask you, your style of music is, I mean, some people might say it's very soulful, it's very jazzy, it's very bluesy. There's even an element of reggae in there. What were your inspirations?
All the above, really. Even down to certain jazz tracks. It's basically what you could safely call a bastardized sort of inversion of all those different styles, sort of mangled together carelessly and regurgitated into a microphone. That's pretty much it. It's like most people, you just sort of take all your influences and this. I don't know. You hopefully try and make something slightly individual out of it.
And it is individual as well, and that is something I really do love. I mean, I play your stuff, and people sort of say to me, "Who's that? Is that? No, it isn't, is it?" And it is. It's one of those things where you sort of can hear you through whatever genre of music that happens to be coming out. And that I think is brilliant.
Yeah, I think you're going to put your own stamp on it when you're doing stuff. Even when I was much more of a copyist than I am now, I did try and put my own little stamp on it. Less successfully in the old days, I think.
Is it true that one of your fans is Van Morrison?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Yeah, I think he said something nice about us. So I did slip him a fiver to say that. Yeah, he was very complimentary. It was very nice of him to say that.
Well, I don't know about nice, but he actually did some backing vocals for you, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like mostly I was doing what you call a guest spot on his show. He called it a Rhythm and Soul Review or something, and he had people like when he travelled to the States, he had Jimmy Witherspoon on there and Junior Wells, and I'd be doing stuff as well, just sort of interspersed with his regular set. I think there was a section in the middle of his show where he'd start doing a few blues things, like things I used to do, like Guitar Slim. And basically, he just let me on stage for any song I might happen to know. And they usually tended to be the ones, the Bobby Plant or Guitar Slim type things.
So do you think that your music is rooted more in blues than say, jazz or anything else?
I couldn't tell you, because in a way, it's hard to pick more one or the other, because they're all so influenced by each other anyway. They're sort of, they all come from the same... they all come from the same stew anyhow. It's, you have to go back to where all those music started, whether jazz was probably mostly influenced by blues itself anyway. So No, I couldn't pick one over the other. I mean, I'd say it's closer to blues because of the smaller number of chords in each song.
The big
Up
breakthrough.
to 4 in some of them.
No! My goodness.
Yeah, the fourth chord, yeah.
Oh, In Search of the Fourth Chord. I guess the big breakthrough album is the one I was talking about, People Gonna Talk, which I think is fabulous. I mean, I love and People Gonna Talk itself. They are brilliant tracks. I absolutely love those. But that got nominated for a Grammy in the States, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Yeah, we lost. Ike Turner got my one.
No.
He beat me, and Dion DiMucci. Well, I mean, I think... I mean, it'd be a bit wrong to snatch a Grammy off Ike Turner. I mean, he practically invented most of the stuff I was doing.
Now, I bet you felt really honoured when that was mooted that you were in the running for that.
Yeah, no, so I got to meet Dion. I mean, I always liked his stuff, The Wanderer and everything like that. So I got to meet my fellow loser. That was nice. And, I mean, I don't know how much being nominated did for us, but it did help with the publicity because we put, whenever we mentioned it, we would put Grammy in big letters and nominated in small letters. So to this day, there are people who think we won.
That's near enough. Now, yeah. You've actually moved. As far as I know, you've relocated to the States, haven't you?
No, everybody thinks that, or a lot of people do. It's just because our management and our record label was in the States, but I've never moved over there. I stayed there for about 5 months, 12 years ago, to try and get the ball rolling, and I think a lot of people think I've made the switch. But no, I live in Brighton.
Oh, brilliant. Well, the next time I'm over, I'll see you there, because I used to live in Brighton. Which brings me...
It's a nice place, isn't it?
Oh, it's fabulous. To Whatever It Takes, the new album, which is actually on Daptone, which is a brilliant label anyway.
Yeah, it's us, yeah. It's a good fit, I think.
Now, I was looking at the video for I Don't Want to Be Without You, and I read somewhere that it's actually filmed on a 16mm Bolex camera driving round Brighton.
That's right. That's right. My wife filmed all the outdoor stuff. I've been learning her, and she's a better photographer than I am. But she set all the the exposure and the focus. She's getting dead good at it. And she sat in the back of a convertible, leaning out the back, filming me coming down Terminus Road Hill, and. Because of the spring wound Bolex, the longest continuous shot you can get is 30 seconds because it's all spring wound clockwork.
That's right, yeah, I remember that.
No batteries involved.
No. So I mean that is not a video; it is an actual proper film.
It's a film, mate. Actually filmed with film. Yes, it's 2 different film stocks. No, 3 actually. We use some reversal stuff. The slightly dark stuff, there's 2 sets of stuff that we did indoors, and the stuff where we look slightly more tanned is reversal film, which I had to send out of the country to get processed. And there's some nice bright Kodak stuff for the beginning, and there's some black and white stuff for our guest appearance because we had a celebrity in the.
I was going to ask you about your guest.
Archie Andrews.
How the hell did you get Archie Andrews?
Archie Andrews, it took a bit of talking down, and we had to negotiate a lot, but we got hold of his agent, David, very nice chap, and did a lot of negotiating, and his manager just got travel expenses, but we had to... I'm not allowed to disclose how much Archie's got, but I think he's been in retirement for a while. He's knocking on a bit. He looks like a schoolboy still, but he worked with Benny Hill and Tony Hancock and Julie Andrews back in the day. So he's been at it a while, so he knows the ropes.
That was incredible. I mean, seeing that, educating Archie, blimey. I mean, that takes me back to being a kid. I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah.
thought, no. Yeah, it's for real though, isn't
Well,
it?
yeah. Actually, also, he's related to Hugo, the dummy from the film Dead of Night, because he was made by the same man made Hugo, the 1945 Ealing film, which scared me rigid when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now
They're actually half brothers, I think.
yeah, I don't know which half is which, but I don't want to know really. Now that was
Yeah.
scary. Now
Wasn't it though? Yeah.
the band you've got now, the James Hunter Six, that's a very interesting lineup with those two saxophones.
Yeah.
Is that something you worked at before?
Well, no. This is the first band I've used with a horn section, but it's the same band I've had for the last almost 30 years.
Really?
Oh, totally. Yeah. When I first when Howlin' Wolf and the VJ split up, I started this band, and various people came in and out, but the lineup was essentially the same, and it's a tenor sax plus baritone. Because it's the kind of lineup. Yeah, it's that classic sort of lineup that you would get on all those old New Orleans rhythm and blues records by Guitar Slim and Fats Domino. It's quite a standard. They have the baritone to give you the sort of big sort of bottom end, and if you juggle it right, you can make two horns sound like a lot more than they are.
It does sound a very, very full sound, I must admit. And with the keyboards, the guitar and the bass as well, the upright bass. It's just a lovely, lovely sound. It's retro, but not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I suppose retro, only means that people stop doing it for reasons known only to themselves. So, yeah.
Now
It's sort of second nature to us, so we don't know any other way of doing it.
You're actually on tour at the moment. Obviously, that's why we've caught you in an airport. Where's the tour taking you to?
Well, we did pretty much did the South on this one. We was in Mississippi and Georgia, and thank you. Now we're doing sort of Midwest, I suppose. We're doing Minneapolis and Chicago. But this is going to be the last two. This is the last two stops, and then we go home for a bit.
So you're back over to the UK then?
Yeah, well, we got a quick one in Calais, and then we got a couple of weeks off. I could do with it.
Have you any plans to do? Any plans to do the rest of Europe?
Oh, we've been over there. Before we started this, about a week before this, we was over in France and Germany and Spain. So I've been busy this year.
No, we missed you in Spain. Do you know, I didn't know you'd been down here. Oh, what a shame. I'd love to have seen you.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Damn. I've got to follow your website.
I'll tell you next time.
Yeah, I've got to follow your website a lot closer because obviously I missed out on that one.
Okay.
Now, what about recording? The album's out. Have you got anything else planned at the moment?
No, we ain't started writing yet. This is about the time I should start because I wrote all the ones on Whatever It Takes. I wrote them in a hurry, which obviously you can tell. I think this is about the time I should start cobbling up some fresh stuff to go on the next one.
Are you one of those people that needs to be in a certain place to write, or do you find it just flows out of you when you just get inspiration?
You see the bathroom. There's more space on the walls in the bathroom. I've covered all the other rooms, but no, I was a frame of mind. You've got to be in a certain mood for it. Yes, you can. In fact, you can be in a really lousy mood, and that can inspire you, or really good. But if you're really fed up, it doesn't help your creativity at all unless you write it in retrospect, long after the event. But no, I think you have to be in a creative mood, but whether you're happy or not, you have to kind of be in the zone. And if you're not, you have to cultivate a bit of discipline, which I haven't really, is to try and carry a notebook around with you, and any stray thought that drifts into your mind, get it down on paper. And then I think Beethoven was this, what they call a junkyard composer. He'd have one idea, sketch it down, and he'd end up sticking a load of them together.
Yeah, David Bowie did that as well.
He just go through his pile of junk and assemble something half decent.
Do you find that when you've written something and you've maybe got it to a point where you think, yeah, that's not too bad, you take it to the band, and as you're playing it with the band, so the whole track changes and takes on a different life?
It does. Well, no, I complete it as a song, but the arrangement is usually what I bring to the band. I do the arrangement as well, but they will add or subtract little bits here and there. They'll add little improvements and, strip the fat out of it, so to speak. But, before I take it to them, I usually ask my wife and ask her whether it's a load of old crap or not. she'll say yes or no, and she'll say which bits it can do without. And, in fact, whatever it takes was, that was one big long outtake, that song, until I sort of remodeled it and completely changed it.
When you're out on the road and you're doing a gig, do you find that the audience give you a little bit of fire so that you feed off their sort of interest in the music you're playing?
With any luck, you can, a good audience could inspire you, sort of thing. We try to make it not fall below a certain level, but an indifferent audience can drain all your energy out of you. And there's, it's like being a comedian and telling jokes to yourself. It's no good. You've heard them, but there's a limit to how much you can entertain yourself. Obviously, as musicians, we can entertain each other. But it does sometimes at the expense of the audience if they're indifferent enough.
Now, the record label you're signed,
one can. Go on.
I was going to say the record label you're signed to, Daptone. One of my favourite artists at the moment, was Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings are actually signed to that label. Do you find the pedigree of that label helps you an awful lot?
I expect it does. I mean, they've already got a reputation, and we bring what little we have to them. And I suppose so. I mean, people hear the label's name and they kind of have a clue as to what they're in for. Even though we're a bit different from most of their artists, stylistically, we kind of approach it from a slightly different angle. But I think maybe it does have a bit of a cachet about it. But artistically, it's they're perfect for us because they understand what we're trying to do, and they understand how best to get us to achieve it.
Brilliant. Okay, I've got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go and get your flight. Where are you flying to, by the way? Where are you off to?
Oh, where am I going? We're going to Minneapolis today.
Oh,
the night off to do our laundry, and then we're playing tomorrow.
Brilliant. Okay, one more question. What happens with the drummer in the movie for I Don't Want to Be Without You? Because he starts at one side and ends on the other side. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah, we cheated. That was artistic license. I just thought it worked because he does the same little hit and two different parts of the song. So I was going to try and do that with a trick photography, but it was too tricky with a tracking shot to sort of stop the film and start to do it in stop motion. So we actually got him to run behind a curtain and appear the other end to complete the intro. But I think I overestimated his athletic ability. It took about 3 takes to get that one done. By the end of it, he was ready to throw his kit at me. He was really fed up by the end of it. But I think it was the last take that was dead on. It was dead right.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, look.
It's a bit like, I think it's a homage to the old school photographs when people had one of those cameras that pan round. Sometimes the teachers did put a stop to this after a while. One kid would appear in the photo twice. At one end, and they'd run round the back of the other kids, and the camera would pan round to catch him the other end. It might have been a reference to that.
It's good, though. It's brilliant. Okay, well, James Hunter, thank you so much for talking with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And the next time I'm over in Brighton, I'm going to look you up and we'll have a coffee.
Lovely. All right, mate. Take care then.
And you. Thanks for chatting with me and safe flight.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.